the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Who's going to win here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway?
This is the Lone Star Stage. The question is, who will be the Lone Star?
Happy Halloween and welcome to Texas Motor Speedway, playing host to yesterday Pro 2. That was round 3 of the Link Engine Management Pro 2 Championship. And today and tomorrow, it's round 5 and round 6 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. I'm Jared Deanda, but you know what? It's Halloween, so we thought we'd get festive, right? So we are up here in the booth. We're going to be painting some happy little clouds, if I may, as we had an awesome Pro 2 action yesterday. And there we go. Paint some happy little clouds. Ryan, how you doing, cowboy?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. So all the speculation yesterday, your costume is a character from the now hit show Yellowstone.
That is correct. I'm Rip.
Rip, that's his name?
Yeah.
Dude, I think you just keep this. And if you don't know who if you don't know who I am, I'm a happy Bob Ross. Just happy little accidents. That's what they are. You know, just when you get lemons, you just make lemonade. You know?
And we've had to make a lot of lemonade.
We've had to make a lot of lemonade. So thanks for joining us here. Happy Halloween. Again, the making of an awesome event here, round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. And yesterday, it started off pretty tumultuous. It seemed that like all the drivers in Pro 2 were shooting off the course. They're going off in that outside zone 3 and then into 4, but they really got it dialed.
They did, and it came on short notice. I mean, let's remember, we were not supposed to be on this side of the track. The fans were actually supposed to be on the grandstands on that side, but like with everything with COVID-19, it changes, and it changes daily. Yeah. Take a look at our top 32 driver matchups for this weekend's event. We've got 2 byes by Chris Forsberg and Chelsea Denofa, and the rest of the field laying in. Actually, I should say that Alec Robbins did not make it to this event. He actually did come down sick. We hope you're feeling better, Alec. And so there will be a 3rd bye. But we've seen the consistency of Ryan Turk, even though we've got 4 winners that don't include him. And that is why he is up on the #1 spot, just a few points out from the surging Von Gittin Jr., who basically dominated Seattle in more ways than one. And as we go back to St. Louis, Jared, we've started to see some threads develop here. Obviously, Osbo and the vehicle look incredible. Yep. He had a tough battle against Matt Field, where some people could say maybe he got caught sleeping there. Obviously, we allow drivers to do the kind of initiation they want. And like any Formula Drift season, there's been some controversy. Outside of that, we saw Denofa come back the next day and just blow the roof off and get his first win of the 2020 season.
Yeah, like you said, just overall, I drove in with Laurette Nickel this morning. She says, any predictions? I said, nope, none. Like you really can't pinpoint like this one driver is dominant, because every driver has an opportunity to get on top of the box and get on the podium. And just the way everybody is driving, this track, very unassuming, pretty straightforward. And then, coming into Seattle, that was an exciting event. Unfortunately, Pro 2 got the most moisture on track compared to the Pro Championship. But like you said, Von Gittin Jr. absolutely dominant. He goes back-to-back, head-to-head wins for the first ever time. Back-to-back wins for him and for any driver. It's pretty amazing. Yeah,
and if you are wondering why, and maybe you missed that show, why he does not have his front bumper on, it was because of probably one of the most entertaining and could have been the most controversial moments of the season. And the crazy part about it is when Vaughn tried to pass and take that pass against Justin Pollock, and they made contact, both of them kept drifting, so it resulted in a one more time. The previous day, he got to do battle with Brendan Lopez, and it showed how strong Vaughn is this year and how quick those RTR cars are. We saw Osbo have some trouble the day after that, where he had a big-time break with his manifold and was out of competition. Right. So that's why we're seeing the championship being so tight at this moment.
Yeah, it's again just really exciting as far as being back here in Texas and sitting next to you, and it's Halloween, so hopefully everybody stays safe. And there are the current standings again. You talked about Ryan Turk, and keep in mind when Chris Forsberg won his most recent championship, he never got a win.
Right.
He never got a win at an event, so that could be Ryan Turk's fate. I'm sure he wants to get the win, but like you said, consistency is key. You know, Osbo got round 1, Dano for round 2, and then it was RTR once again 3 and 4. So there's our bracket once again, and as you said, Alec Robbins, you know, him and his wife did, you know, they were sick, so they stayed home. They said they got tested. They do have COVID, so they stayed home. But Forsberg and Danofa, they both have bye runs. Any other battles stand out in your mind, or maybe people to watch here this weekend?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, we're looking for a breakout from Adam LZ. We've started seeing him, you know, rise up a little bit, and really, you know, he's a big fan favorite. We see a lot of people commenting online about him. But I think the focus really for me is there's probably up to 10 drivers that can win any given event at any given time. And it's not just the regulars that you would think. I'm waiting for a Matt Field breakout.
Yep.
You know, I'm waiting to see is Wataru Masuyama gonna live up to the expectations that have been put on him? You know, what's gonna happen to guys like Gittin? Can they maintain that momentum? I mean, let's remember, this time last year, we're basically done with the season. Now we're on the downside of being halfway through, and in less than 3 weeks, we're going to finish the season. It's just unbelievably incredible.
Yeah, it's really crazy. There's Forsberg, and there's Adam LZ, and arguably one of the best-looking vehicles, you know, just rolling up. But Adam LZ just, you know, draws a lot of fans. A lot of people are rooting for him, but can he actually produce the fruits of his labor and really kind of put it all together for him? And you spoke to that a little bit, you know, just a little bit ago. But really, you know, just a lot of things going on. You know, the track, short little run up, got pretty, you know, gets pretty exciting. So trying to create a good, exciting tandem. And this is what happened earlier in practice, Ryan. I actually was getting prepped. I was down in the offices, and whammo, what happened to JTP?
Well, he ended up catching on fire. We'll see how much of the footage that we have. Now, I understand that he did sustain massive damage to the engine, and we'll see the fire plume or the smoke plume come out here.
Oh boy.
My expectation is, from what I've heard from the track staff, is that he will probably not make it into the top 32 competition. Now, that's a big disappointment, because if that's the case, and there's the car just a few moments later, looks like they're going to be doing a complete engine overhaul. Remember, he was second place in Seattle.
Yep.
He had made some big moves here, and you can see how, you know, nervous he looks right now. But let's go down and talk to Lorette Nickel, who's with JTP.
Car had a really tough practice. What happened?
We went out for our first practice run. Everything was feeling great. Man, came around outer zone 3, and just like lost power. Smoke comes up out of the hood, which is like never a good sign. I shut it down, brought it back over here. I mean, it was like dumping oil out after the finish line. And we brought it back here, checked out the logs, and it looks like it lost oil pressure and it probably broke a rod, windowed the block. So, I mean, we're just trying to get this thing put back together. We got our spare engine, but it's going to take some time.
Do you think you have enough time? And what are the goals at this point?
I mean, our goals are to get it swapped as soon as possible, but I mean, these big V8 engines, this thing's like shoehorned like in there. It's going to be tough. I mean, chances are I'm not going to be able to make it before 32. I know practice is probably almost up, and I think we're one of the first few, like, we're on the left side of the bracket, so I mean, we probably only have like maybe an hour after that. And I mean, these engine swaps take, you know, 5-6 hours probably, like best case scenario. It's just, there's a lot of stuff to swap over. I mean, we have our spare engine prepped for the most part, but still, like, we got to take the headers off, and you know, it's just a process. So it's not like a little 4-banger where you can like basically just huck it out and, you know, swap stuff over. It's like twice as much stuff. So we're gonna do our best to get back out there, but you know, we'll see what happens.
Well, in the 5th battle in the top 32, so hopefully it gives you enough time. We're crossing our fingers for you, Justin. Thank you so much, guys.
All right, thank you, Lorette. Man, really unfortunate. Just such a bummer, and he was on a tear. I mean, he's I believe he's currently sitting 5th, if I'm not mistaken. But overall, there's the brackets, there's the matchups. As he said, yeah, I mean,
it's good news for Tyler Nelson. I think he's going up against Nelson or Niren.
Right.
Niren. Yeah, so good news for Niren if he's not able to make it back. I know that's not the way that he would want to win, but that would move him immediately into the top 16.
And just to clarify, I know we didn't run buy runs yesterday for Pro 2. Are we running them in Pro?
Yeah, for Pro we will run them.
Okay, so that maybe gets Justin a little bit of time because Forsberg, Essa, they are our first 2 runs, and they will be buy runs. When we come back, we'll see our first battle here in Top 32 at Texas Motor Speedway. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Your body is a machine with 800 horses coursing through its veins. Ignite it. NOS Energy, human horsepower.
What takes me to my happy place is actually adding a bottle of Royal Purple Max Boost every time I fill up my tank, and literally feeling the difference it makes with my engine. It's like putting on your favorite pair of socks. What a coincidence. Now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, when you buy a bottle of Max Boost, Royal Purple is going to send you a pair of Royal Purple designer socks. Personally, this might be one of the best promos ever. Max Boost bumps up that octane number a legit 3 points, and the socks put some heat on your feet. How you doing, right?
The Falcon Azenis RT660 is the enthusiast's choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falcon Azenis RT660.
To let you know about the Ford Performance Drift and Dirt Sweepstakes, where you can win your choice of a brand new 2021 Ford Super Duty Tremor, which is ready for work or outdoor adventure at any time.
Or a 480 horsepower track-ready 2021 Ford Mustang Mach 1.
All you have to do is head to driftandirt.com for your chance to win.
Link ECU produces standalone engine management technology with a range of products that allow you to unleash the power of your engine. Acting as your car's brain, Link ECUs control electronic fuel injection and ignition. A magnitude of sensor inputs and outputs ensure your engine exceeds your expectations. Built-in safety features guarantee engine protection, and data logs keep you informed on its performance. Smoke your tires, not your engine, with a world-leading Link ECU.
Formula Drift is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Royal Purple, the official engine oil of Formula Drift, the synthetic expert. NOS, the official energy drink of Formula Drift. NOS High Performance Energy. How hard will you drive? All right, welcome back here at Texas Motor Speedway. We do have fans in the building. They are positioned really high up in the corner of turn 4, I believe it is, or excuse me, turn 1. and turn 1. So a little bit of distance away as here we go, the Aim High Air Force Trivia. What type of aircraft was used to first break the sound barrier? Was the Bell YZF R1, the Bell XQ, the Bell X1, or the Bell SR71? So go ahead and go into the description on the YouTube page where you can stream Formula Drift to all your friends, and you can find that Aim High Trivia. So go ahead and answer. Thank you to the United States Air Force for your support of the Formula Drift Championship. Lorette Nickel is down with our back-to-back winner in Seattle, Vaughn Gittin Jr.
Thank you so much, Jared. Well, I know Vaughn Gittin Jr. is feeling really good. He told me everything's working very well with his car. And Vaughn, coming off those 2 wins from Seattle, how do you keep that momentum going?
Yeah, I'm feeling super pumped. I mean, it feels great. It's the best way you can feel coming to an event. Just looking forward to, starting off where we finished in Seattle. Feeling really good. Our car is just super dialed. This Mustang RTR is incredible, and we've got a really great setup for this track. I wish the run-up was a little bit longer. It just could be so much faster and so much funner, but I don't know. I guess some people don't like that very much. We're dealing with the same track everyone else is, and going to go out there and put it down.
Okay, Vaughn, best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you, Lorette. And here is a look at the track, Ryan. And Vaughn was talking about the short little run up there. That's going to create a little tighter tandem battle, but walk us through what we have.
Yeah, the run-up is about exactly the same distance as the Long Beach run-up, which basically forces drivers to be as close as possible into that first outside zone. Now, immediately they leave from there and hit that inside clip, and we know how important that inside clip is, as well as zones 2 and 3. Yesterday in Pro 2, we saw a lot of guys cutting it short, but those that were going out deep to those zones seem to be the ones that were more easily moving forward. And then you talked about it earlier, going into outside zone 4, drivers with too much momentum going off course. We saw a lot of that as well. So really trying to not necessarily look at the chase driver and what he's doing, but making sure that you're on the right line so that you don't go off course, but at the same time, not letting that chase driver get away, or that lead driver get away.
And the cars who were dominant yesterday had a lot of horsepower. Who in Pro 2 was Jonathan Hurst, and his car, you could just see it immediately right in 32. I think it was 32 or 16 where he went against Lynn. You saw he had that horsepower just right at beck and call, and he could just womp on it and get right to the side of the vehicle. And you look at the top 3, Blake Olson, Derek Madison. I mean, all those competitors had a lot of horsepower. So now coming into the Pro Championship, again, it really comes down to just dialing in and harnessing that horsepower and not overcooking it in that last outside zone.
I think that point is key. It's not so much about how much horsepower do you have, but how much can I put down and win, right? So setup, suspension setup, the way that you are applying power to the vehicle that gets to the ground is incredibly important. We saw guys that were able to rocket out of outside zone 1 and pull a little bit of a gap into inside clip number 1. And as we think about the format today, we have no qualifying, right?
No.
So this is a seeded bracket. We've got 2 runs. Each driver gets a chance to lead and chase, and for the judges, 3 options: driver A, driver B, or one more time.
All right, there's the tandem format. If you don't know, now you know, and we'll take a look at the lead driver goals. Run the qualifying line. We don't have qualifying, but basically put the car exactly where you need to be. Run that 100-point qualifying run out front and a chaseable lead run. If it's not chaseable, it's going to be over for both the drivers. Chase driver goals?
Chase driver goals: initiate no later than the last initiation point, maintain close proximity to the lead driver, match or better the lead driver's angle. That's really important. And then the mimicking effect that we really like to see, where drivers are doing things in tandem, as we say.
All right. Yeah, and yesterday, that's that right there, going through the power alley, really living up to its name, linking it from that front clip into outside zone 2 and then linking into 3. You saw a lot of vehicles go off in 3 and then all the way into 4 where you think they're going to cross the finish line. No, they just overcook it. And the smoke trail, we haven't talked about that yet. Yesterday, Pro 2, everybody's on Achilles tires. Now you get the variety, you get the potpourri of different tires, and that's really going to come into play. Here's a look at yesterday, and this was Hurst absolutely delivering. This is what I was talking about. This is him in the lead position. You can see how dominant he was over Lynn in that battle. And I hope we get a shot of his chase run, because basically you just saw how just had a lot of horsepower.
Well, whereas we say that, Osbo gets a lot of work done in his lead run, I think Hurst, to your point, got a lot of work done in the chase runs for him.
Yep.
He was really able to do a great job through the power alley, which is incredibly deceptive if you're just watching it with your eyes. where we get these great shots with the overhead drone and some of the elevated camera positions, you get to see how much of the course they're really using. And you can also tell when a driver is stuck behind that smoke line, just maybe out of position a little bit, and they get lost. And that can happen on multiple parts of this course.
And fortunately, you know, I know years past, if you remember, one of the longest events ever to happen was here at Texas, where it was like, one more time, smoke. And the combination of the lights at night and the smoke, you couldn't see anything. So I think it's kind of a blessing that we're doing this and getting it done before dinner time.
And I do want to say one thing that came out of the drivers' meeting this morning that actually did not come from the judges, but actually came from our competition staff. We've had a number of drivers on outside zone 2 and 3. There's a drop off there of about 6 inches. And if you drop a tire, you're very likely to debeat it.
Yeah.
If that does happen, they are going to allow that driver to change the tires without getting a zero in those sections of the course only, because of how devastating it can be just for dropping a tire. And that will apply to both drivers. So if we do get a debeating in that area, and it did happen by just dropping a tire, they will allow them to change as well as the other driver. So I think that's a nice concession to make, because we want the drivers to push as fast as they possibly can. And the meaning behind the debeating rule is really about, while you're performing on the course, that you need to have those tires stay adhering to the rims, not when you go off course necessarily in an area where we're asking you to go.
Yeah, yeah. All right, taking a look, and we saw the points at stake there. 100 points for the win. Ryan Turk with that 272, Vaughn Gittin Jr. 264, and we talked about Justin Pollock. He's currently sitting in 4th, with Frederick Osbo sitting in 3rd, and then rounding out the top 5 is Chelsea Denofa, and Denofa 228 to 272. So, you know, with a doubleheader weekend, you know, somebody like Pollock, he needs to work on that vehicle. Might not make it today, but he could potentially make it for tomorrow. He could, yeah, and I think that is one of the important takeaways from these doubleheader weekends, is that he doesn't have to go home right now. He can watch what happens here in competition. He can take, you know, very copious notes and understand what's going on, work on the vehicle, come back strong tomorrow and try to make up those points if indeed he's not able to get to the hot pits. But I'm ready to go. You ready? I'm pumped, man. Super, yeah. Happy Halloween. Trick or treat, we'll find out who gets the biggest treat of them all, the carbon fiber trophy, as we are now entering the burnout box with our first driver. And Ryan, like you said, we did not have the buy runs yesterday, but we will have them today. So Chris Forsberg will be our first driver, and he has a buy run piloting his NOS energy drink Nissan 370Z on Nexen tires. A little bit windier today, a little more brisk, but it's supposed to be just about 70s today, but with the air being cooler and denser, could help these vehicles run a lot more efficiently. Yeah, I noticed in practice that there was just seemed like the pro guys have kind of got this on lock on a little bit of a different level. And so I think we're going to see some really interesting aspects to these battles today that we didn't necessarily see in Pro 2, though the driving this year has been incredible from those guys. These guys have actually, many of them have actually driven this track back to 2014. There's a number of veterans, and even though the run-up is a little bit different, there's still going to be some historic takeaways. All right, so here we go. Just the sights and sounds of the sport. Kick things off with a buy run from the three-time champ, Chris the Ford Forsberg. Lay out and listen to this VR-powered 370Z. Bob Ross, I think those are some happy little clouds. Yeah, they are. It's good. It's real nice. I like it. I like that line. I do like it, yeah. I love the way you look right now. It's hard to wear these cones with the cowboy hat on, so yeah, I'm gonna. It's all right, Rip. Go here. It's all right, Rip. So as we take a look at Chris Forsberg, it's probably worth pointing out there are 2 decel zones, took the words out of my mouth, official decel zones on this course. One is in outside zone 3 that Chris just passed, and the first one is outside zone 1 right at initiation. Now, it should be also of interest to people watching that the decel zones were actually compiled and put together by the data that we pulled off the cars. Now, historically, we've always just done it as consensus with the drivers. This is where we think people are decelling. Now we've started to work in data that we're pulling from the cars themselves and then overlaid all of the drivers to show where they're actually decelling. And what happened after that is where we originally thought the decel was going to be on outside zone 1 as a small little like blip
turned into a much bigger zone there. So that's given us a lot more information to go off of and help judging overall.
Another former champ, Michael Essa. Michael Essa and Forsberg will see battle against each other in the top 16. That FCP Euro, Achilles tire, BMW. Comes in hard, man. You know, it's a buy run, Essa. You can chill, man. You already got the win. Goes in hard in that first outside zone. This is a buy run for Michael Essa, another former champ. All right, we got the Toyota Tundra and Tacoma Nightshade Edition out here fixing up the track as we take a look at Michael Essa's run here. You can see that outside zone 2. Ryan, you talk about the decel right there coming into zone 3. Now that big sweeper outside zone 4 starts right there. So fill that thing up, get that back end all the way out, get to the edge of the course, and cross the finish line sideways. Yeah, Forsberg, Essa, these guys have had some words, exchanged some battles many moons ago. And here they are once again. They will be seeing competition after the halftime break in top 16. Already got a couple vehicles in as we move right along here, Ryan. First battle of the day, Dean Carney versus Rome Charpentier from La Costa, San Diego, California. You can see horsepower difference there, 1250 versus 940. So Dean Carney, saw him in Seattle, you know, just moments of greatness, and then just things would go wrong. Gremlins would show up, and so gutted for him. And yeah, there it is.
If you'd like a little inside look at that, I know that Dean did struggle with the vehicle in Seattle, but also had some bright moments there. We have a really great piece on our social media channels called Kevin's Corner, which actually gives some insight to exactly what happened with Dean and the challenge that they had to deal with in Seattle in general.
All right, while we wait for this battle, Lorette Nickel is with the Force.
Thank you, Jared. Well, as you can hear, Chris and I are just talking about the track, so I'd love for you to fill everybody in on your thoughts.
Yeah, sure. So it's a pretty short run-up, so we don't have too much speed getting into the first corner. So some guys are upshifting, some guys are just lugging the car through the first turn, and then it just really speeds up through the right-hander. And if you don't get that line just right, it's really easy to miss outer zone 2. And then you got to carry that speed down into the last left-hander, and same thing. Some guys are downshifting, some people are leaving it, so it's you know, a little more practice might have got the cars a little more even, so it's going to be a tricky one today.
Okay, and it seems like some of the guys are struggling with gearing choices. Is that right?
Yeah, so kind of like along with what I'm saying, some people are just trying to not shift and keep it in the same gear, so they're a little short in some places, a little long in others, and some people are shifting in 2 different spots on the track, so makes you know, makes for a lot of differences between the cars. So, yeah.
Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you,
guys.
Thank you, Lorette, and good luck to you, Chris. And just break it down just a little further, like you're saying, different shifting points for these drivers and what's going on. As we can see, Rome warming up his tires, and looks like Dean Carney already on the line. We will see Dean Carney actually lead the first run, and then they'll alternate. Again, very treacherous coming here. I know if you're just watching online at home, earlier in the week, a lot of the drivers making their trip and making the trek out from wherever they were, and snowing and icy and in Texas, and then coming here, the NASCAR race prior to this, prior to our event, got delayed. 1, 2, 3. It finally raced on Wednesday. Then they could load in. Pro 2 had to drive, and here we are now. So just, again, pretty treacherous getting to this point for a lot of the drivers. And the lights are on, and now they're extinguished. Here we go. Dean Carney will lead. Rome Charpentier will give chase. Dean Carney initiates into that first outside zone. Our first official battle of the weekend. Dean Carney, a little bit of straightening there as he takes out that front flip. Now comes into the outside zone 3, that big sweeper. Rome jumping right to the side of Dean Carney. And look at that, gets lost in the smoke, absolutely bathing in it. And crossing the finish line. Doesn't look like he has any gremlins right now, Dean Carney, but man, Rome was eyeballs deep in smoke.
And he did a great job navigating through it, especially on that last left-hand sweeper. Let's take a look at the beginning here. I think Dean gets a pretty good jump, goes to center court there, comes back around, nice little snap, fills that outside zone, through the inside clip with good angle there, has a slight little adjustment, but he does reach out to the inside of outside zone 2 and 3. This is where we see that surge. from Rome as he tries to catch up here and dive back inside. But right there, he gets caught in the smoke line. And we saw yesterday a lot, people going off course when that happens. He was able to drive through it, use that muscle memory, and get through unscathed. So he fell back a little bit, gained some proximity. Look, he really did cut the line through the center there. We see that pretty exaggerated when we look at the drone shot. Really shows you that perspective. And that part of the course, no matter which way we've run it historically, has always been, I think, one of the most challenging areas for drivers in the chase position to get the line right. And it's proven to be that way this year as well.
What's the consensus you've heard in regards to the double headers from the drivers?
I think, I don't know if I have a consensus on it. I think obviously, it was really about like saving the season, right? And really the doubleheaders pretty much being the only way to do it. So in that sense, I think people are for it.
Yeah.
If the option was to not have a season. I think we also knew coming into it that attrition could certainly play a role. I think that cars have actually held up pretty well, though, that there has been some attrition. Whether or not that's because of the double headers or just naturally happening, it's hard to really say. But, I think in this kind of year, you can try things that you would never have in any other kind of year.
I like that. There you go. Here we go. Rome out front. Dean Carney. Oh, wow, look at that. Massive initiation from Rome, but then it snaps back as Dean Carney might be favoring him there, Ryan. That was a very aggressive initiation by Rome. He did not, kind of corrected going to that first front clip, but Dean Carney, I think he was chomping at the bit and handled that very well. That could have gone south really quick for both the drivers. But watch this initiation by Rome. Does he hold on to it? I was looking at the monitor as well as they pass right in front of the judges' stand and our announcers booth. Let's look at it again.
Well, I think your first intuition is right. He had a big snap here, but it rubber band back, and Dean had to make an adjustment there. I thought his adjustment that he made was really awesome, actually. There it is again. So as soon as Dean sees that he has to make that adjustment, he doesn't force a big error. He's starting now to utilize the lead driver as a moving clipping point. Now, once he gets in the pocket here, he really keeps the pressure on. See, Dean was thinking that Rome was going to go a little bit farther, and that could have resulted in contact. But as he starts getting back into the chase position now, he's going to lock in right here and keep the pressure on through this left-hand sweeper. Does a great job there not to fall back. So I think the judges will give an advantage to Dean on the adjustment that he made and a mistake for Rome on the initiation.
And I believe that's the case. We'll get Ryan Lontaine on the headsets and elaborate here as Dean Carney gets the win. Ryan Lontaine, going over to you. Ryan Lontaine, talking to you, buddy. Let's get your headset on and want to make sure just across the judges stand here, but wrapping out with you. Ryan Sage was elaborating and saying that on the initiation, Rome threw it in way too hard. He thought that Dean adapted really well.
That's absolutely right. Rome really was aggressive, and we've been telling these guys at initiation you got to throw it in big and maintain that angle until you transition from inside clip one. But he just went too big, and you could see that it put him far to the left, and he ended up on that rumble strip, lost a lot of angle, and Dean, I think, did an awesome job of adjusting and adapting to what was going on ahead of him. He didn't hesitate. He stayed on throttle, and he used that opportunity to get as close to Rome as he could. So used it to his advantage. It worked out well for him.
Yeah, he sunk in it is a Viper, so he sunk in the fangs there and held on.
He did. Is that hair warm, Jared? Does that keep your head warm?
It is.
Yeah.
It does. It suits a couple different opportunities here. So yeah, keep my head warm as well as I look good.
Of course you do.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Let's throw it down to Lorette Nickel. Who you got?
Hey, Jared, thank you so much. Michael Essa had another bye run right after Chris Forsberg, and we were talking about, is that actually a disadvantage for a driver?
I think it can be. It depends obviously on who you're going against. With no qualifying this year, it's kind of all up in the air. You might get paired up against a guy who ends up on the podium at the end, and it's a tough battle. But at the same time, you kind of get in the groove in top 32 and understand what the judges want to see. So what I'm going to do right now is just go watch the rest of the runs and figure out, what they expect of us, because without that qualifying, it's just, you don't really know until we get into it.
Sure. Michael, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you, Lorette. Good luck to you, Michael Essa. And yeah, he brings up a great point. Without, qualifying, you're kind of going off of just what the judges say and all this stuff, as opposed to qualifying. You really get a good indicator of where they are stressing, certain things. So Adam LZ, a bye run for Adam. We'll see him in top 16 because Joao Verillon is not here. So another driver that unfortunately did not make it here. So João Berrion from Brazil is not here, but a lot of LZ fans. The LZ Army excited for Adam LZ moving on into the top 16. Hashtag FDTX. If you're watching at home, go ahead and feel free to tag at Formula D. Hashtag FDTX. Looks like Cletus McFarland coming down. He's going to be in the building as well. Just got a message from him. Yeah, Adam LZ feeling the flow in Seattle and bringing a little bit of motivation here into Texas. How you doing there, man? You all right? Staying out of the cold? All right. That's nice. That's good. All right, so moving along, another bye run for Jonathan Nairn. So not that, again, Alec Robbins unfortunately had to stay home. JTP, he was unable to run or, fix his vehicle, so he is still in the pits. And hopefully him and his team are going to get that thing back together so we can see him run tomorrow. Like you said, we've seen engine swaps in something like Osbo's team, but that's, small little 4-cylinder as opposed to a big V8. So Jonathan Nairn changing up chassis here. He was campaigning that Shelby Mustang in the previous 2 doubleheader weekends. Now here he is in this S chassis, jumping in. Now going around, looks like he's going to get the quick fast pass into the top 16. As Nairn continues on through the course. So Ryan, in between, Justin popping his engine, João Berrion not coming to us from Brazil, Alec Robbins, unfortunately, and hopefully, hope you and your wife feel better soon. A couple bye runs here, shaking things up.
Yeah, I think that's the end of it on the left-hand side of the bracket. We do have one with Chelsea DeNovo on the right, but now it's battles all the way through.
You have to do it the whole time. Jonathan Nairn, switching vehicles. I didn't get the actual verdict on why he changed vehicles. That's kind of his tried and true vehicle, switching, from the S chassis. He's been campaigning that vehicle for quite some time in Pro-Am. He's familiar. That's like old faithful for him. Similar to like Travis Reeder. Travis Reeder made some history being the first ever electric drift vehicle last year, and now he got back to what he calls Old Red, his S13. So I think it's comfortable space for him. It's like riding a bike. As we move on to Kazuya Taguchi and Ken Gucci. Look at this, you can see 1,100 horsepower, 700 horsepower, and Gooch, unfortunately, if you can remember, had a real bad luck in Seattle, man. Just an unfortunate turn of events. Couldn't, kind of a similar JTP scenario.
Yeah, that was a really tough break for him. I know that what they have now, they feel really confident about. And he said they're getting more out of the engine, but you never want to have a mechanical like that knock you out early in competition.
All right, Kazuya Taguchi, another VR-powered chassis here. This S15 throws it in. Let's see what he got. Now brings it around. Nice job by Taguchi. Out to that second outer zone, into the third. And Ken Gucci getting rowdy, getting to the side of the up garage S chassis. No engine problems right now at all from either driver, and especially Ken Gucci.
Yeah, and once again, you can see that the run-up is forcing drivers to really push hard right when that light goes off. And you see Gucci was trying to figure out where do I get settled here? And as Taguchi goes out to that outside zone, Gucci was not able to follow him out there. So Taguchi does a good job on the second and third outside zone. Gucci now starts locking it in. Here it is coming through that power alley once again. You can see Ken was not able to follow Taguchi out to that outside zone. Made it tough for him there. But now he's starting to pick up the pace. But some mistakes made in the chase that he'll have to make up in his lead run.
All right, as we could see Vaughn Gittin Jr. back there in the wings. He's going against Nelson. Now Ken Gucci will lead against Kazuya Taguchi. Making sure the cameras are all good, locked and loaded. And we're going to throw it down. Let's see what kind of happy little clouds this Toyota Supra of Ken Gucci is going to flare up. Nothing but happy little attitudes. Here we go, Ken Gucci out front. Kazuya Taguchi in the chase. Little slow trickle there as they throw it in. Ryan, exactly what you're talking about, that slow run-up, or the short run-up, does make them definitely compact as far as tandem runs. Oh, Taguchi getting aggressive. Jumps up to the side, but then has to back off. Kind of going back and forth. We'd like to see him consistent all the way through. And Taguchi, I think, gained that ground, especially because of that decel area. So Ken, you know, again, allowed to check up just a little, not check up, but slow down, getting set up for that outside zone 3 and that big sweeper.
Well, Taguchi certainly pulling some good grip out of that car. The initiation by Ken gets him deep into that outside zone. Taguchi didn't follow him completely. Now let's see how Ken gets into outside zone 2. He kind of lost a little bit of angle there in outside zone 2, leaving inside clip number 1. Taguchi tucks up on the inside, tries to start closing the door here. Good proximity towards the end as Gucci goes through the finish line. Big smoke cloud that Taguchi had to drive through. Here it is again. You can see that also Taguchi was a little bit shallower on the line, but not as extreme as Ken in his chase run. So the judges got their work cut out for him here in this battle as these drivers go back and forth. And does somebody have the edge overall?
We will find out. Let's see what we got. Do we have a victor? Slide them one way or the other for Gucci or Kazuya Taguchi. You can see the up garage lid outside of the vehicle there. Kazuya Taguchi. The up garage GT radial S chassis. Slide them left for Taguchi, right for Ken Gucci. Kazuya Taguchi gets 1 and 2. Kazuya Taguchi gets the win unanimously. Unfortunately for Ken Gucci, man, tough break for him from Seattle. Now here he is. He does have another opportunity tomorrow, but just like that. And let's throw it down to Lorette Nickel, who's with Jonathan Nairn. He's changing up the cars. What's up?
Hey, thank you so much. We were just talking about the change in the cars, going from the Mustang to the 240. So if you wouldn't mind telling everybody why the change.
So this is our backup car. I ran this first in Formula Drift Canada in 16 and 17. I've been running S chassis for the past 10 years. So this car I'm comfortable in, but it is my backup car. The Mustang, as most of you know, we did blow an engine at Evergreen Speedway. What most of you don't know is we blew our second engine, and we figured that out at the end of the round. We was running Ryan Turk versus had some lifted heads on the second engine and blew the head gasket. So in order to be ready for this round, this was the most realistic chassis to run, and because it was essentially already ready, we had to get some safety standards back, to FD standards. But other than that, it was essentially good to go. The transition from Mustang to 240 was, it took me a few laps to get used to it. It's a lot lighter and smaller chassis, not as wide, not as long, and it took me like I said, a few laps to get used to it. But luckily, I've been running a couple other series this year. We've done well down at Clutch Kickers. We've had a few podiums in the last 3 events. So the transition into this car is not as difficult as when I went into the Mustang and getting used to it. So for now, we're going to be running the 240SX in Texas, and the game plan is to have our Mustang back at Irwindale. The Shelby Super Snake, we'll have it out there along with my teammate Tyler Nelson. Should have a fresh engine in there. I'm going to have some test days, feel real comfortable behind it, and be in the top 16 again out there.
Congratulations. Thank you so much. Guys.
Thank you, Lorette, and good luck to you, Naren, as you will be going against Kazuya Taguchi. And speaking of Tyler Nelson, here he is going against the man who's carrying a lot of momentum, the most recent victor, not once, but twice in Seattle. So Tyler Nelson will be going against Vaughn Gittin Jr., piloting that Monster Energy Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5D. Tyler Nelson with that Shelby Mustang. Vaughn Gittin Jr. initiating into the outside zone. Let's see how he handles that power rally. You can see Vaughn Gittin Jr. talks about how the car hooks up, and here comes Tyler Nelson. Getting to the side of Vaughn Gittin Jr. Lunges into the outside zone 3, now into outside zone 4. Fills all of it, and Tyler Nelson cuts through the smoke. Ryan. Again, Tyler, we've seen him in previous rounds. Very aggressive. Has gotten to the side of many doors and bashed and done some damage, so maybe pump back here a little bit as looks good.
And got close again, didn't he? You can see Vaughn really deep into outside zone 1. Nelson trying to reach out to outside zone 2, does a pretty good job there, but comes in super fast, almost makes contact with Vaughn, leaving outside zone 3. Vaughn is able to stay in it. Here it is through the power alley again, surging forward, gets super close, almost exceeds the front 2 wheels of Vaughn. but now he's able to kind of start trying to reel him in, but he's down on the angle there. He really had to shallow up to gain that proximity toward the end. As we take a look at the drone, you'll see that surging attack again. He does forego that outside zone 3, and so we'll see a few deductions from him in the chase position. It was a pretty clean, good lead run from Vaughn overall. We know that that has paid dividends for him in his past 2 wins, is going out there and solidifying that solid lead run, letting that chase driver work as hard as they can.
You know, the variations here is just you have a Formula Drift rookie in Tyler Nelson. He wants it. He's aggressive. The veteran driver of Vaughn Gittin Jr., again, coming off those victories, momentum, all that. But I would say just consistency. You know, you see Vaughn, how he's led, and we'll see if he follows suit. And what I'm claiming here is just that fluidity. I think that's really what the judge is looking for, especially in the chase. Not lunging back and forth. Keeping it consistent all the way through. As Tyler Nelson initiates in that first outside zone, you see it almost like Rome Charpentier, how he threw it in, had to back off a little bit, but Tyler Nelson very aggressive. So you can see Vaughn has that controlled, calculated chase there. It's much more fluid. It's not herky-jerky, you know, comes in and delivers.
Vaughn did a good job of adjusting to that big flick, and you're right, like Rome also did a big flick, but he rubber banded back. Nelson was actually able to pull it off a little bit better, but Vaughn was able to make the adjustments needed to stay in the pocket. Let's take a look at it. Vaughn kind of eyes him up. Nelson goes a little bit wide on outside zone 1. Big angle there, but Vaughn backs off for a second. Now he's starting to follow him into outside zone 2. He's a little bit shallower than we would like to see him there in that position, but this is where he starts pouring it on. He finds a good opportunity to attack here, and you have to remember, lead versus lead, chase versus chase, and who did better overall. It looks like Vaughn could potentially edge this one out as he was able to make the better adjustments, perhaps had the better overall lead. As you can see, a tire drop there, almost 2. The judges will allow you to go out to the rumble strips as the lead driver without getting a deduction, but he did drop a tire there, so a number of things for the judges to factor in.
What's interesting enough, the observation I'm seeing is Tyler almost has a, you know, early Vaughn Gittin Jr. style. If you can remember Vaughn, you know, prior to him winning the championship, he would just be a little more volatile is the best way I could describe it, you know, but now getting more refined, more seat time, that just contributes to the fluidity. You know, you can still have that X factor. You see that with certain drivers, like your Matt Field, even your Chelsea Nofa, who's his RTR teammate. But I think Tyler, more seat time, getting familiar with the vehicle, getting familiar with other drivers, I think he's definitely a rising star. So Vaughn Gittin Jr. officially gets the win. It is unanimous, so Tyler Nelson, we'll see you here tomorrow, you and Jonathan Nairn. So now Tyler, he's going to watch from the sidelines, but he's going to cheer on Jonathan Nairn, who's going against Taguchi, and Vaughn Gittin Jr. moves on in the top 16. He'll be going against Matt Field or Travis Reeder, and this should be a fun one. Both these guys, I would say, like I said, Field, aggressive, you know, it has that volatile style that really, bam, just punch you in the face kind of initiation. Reeder, I would say a little smoother, a little more fluid. So we'll see who comes out on top. But Travis Reeder, GT Radial, the old red, as Matt Field waits at the start line with his Falcon Tires pedal commander, Falcon Tires Corvette, operating the Drift Cave. There you go, from San Jose, California. You can see the numbers. Matt Field saying 700, Reeder saying 950. Let's just split the difference, say they both got about 8.
Actually, Matt Field wanted us to update that, and the horsepower is much higher.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming. Like his supercharged Corvette has much more horsepower than that. All right, so we will be seeing Matt Field lead. He gets the number 12 spot, Reeder with the 21st. So who will Vaughn Gittin Jr. go against? Will it be Travis Reeder? Let's call him Travis Reeder, the Walmart greeter. Going against Matt Field, the beast from the Bay. Looks like the lights are beginning to illuminate right there in between the vehicles. Once they extinguish, they're ready to go. The chase car can leave the start line before the lead vehicle, just to pace themselves and make sure they got good proximity. Fluid initiation there from Matt Field. Look at Reeder jumping to the side. Matt Field with massive angle here. Oh boy, Reeder rips up. Look at that thing, just absolutely rip up and exceed those front tires.
Man.
You know what? I was claiming that Field was going to get aggressive and Reeder was going to be smooth. Quite the contrary and the exact opposite of what I was claiming.
Yeah, he did a good job actually saving the car there because there was so much angle put in. He surged actually past the front 2 wheels. Let's take a look at Field out front. Nice consistent line, starts pouring the angle on outside zone 2, and that's where Reeder really comes up really hard. We'll take a look at it again. This is coming through the power alley right here. He's going to come up on the backside, massive flick into outside zone 3, but with that angle, he comes off outside zone 3. Then he has to make a big adjustment to get back into the pocket against Matt Field. Really lucky he didn't actually hit Matt there, and that the timing was enough in his favor to avoid that. So it was a solid lead run from Matt Field. Looked pretty good overall. Let's see how he gets out to outside zone 2. Right at the edge there, Reeder has to cut a little bit close, and there's that big angle as he rotates from outside zone 3 into the left-hand sweeper.
Hey, Rip, what'd you think of that run, bud?
It was pretty good.
That's it. You know what? Again, I just think we're painting a beautiful picture here of what's going on.
Need more time to put my outfit on.
Is that? No, I think you look great. You look great. I mean, I think I'm just happy right now. Ma'am, I do declare. All right, here we go. Let's alternate the order here. Travis Reeder out front. Matt Field chase position. Like we said, not a big run up there. Punches him up as Reeder works the car out to that second outside zone. Matt Field almost emulates what Reeder did. Big angle there from Reeder, bringing all the way into that outside zone and across the finish line. This is going to be a tough one to call, Ryan, because both of them had just some little nuances, kind of, exceeding the front tires or different things. As let's take a look at here again. I got this there, Rip. You go ahead and chill there, buddy.
Yeah, no, it was really interesting what happened here. Let's take a look at Reeder out front. See that correction right there going into outside zone 2, and that is a pretty sizable mistake in the lead. Remember, clear air out front. And Matt Field was able to take advantage of it. You can see Matt Field was back a little bit as he tried to attack here on the inside. Reeder, so much grip in that car. The car is so fast. Remember, he knows this car so well, and he performs awesome in it, but a couple mistakes there may cost him overall.
You can see an overhead shot there. Reeder with that correction to get it out to that second outside zone. You can see Field. It looked like, he was going to kind of take that similar line to Reeder in the chase position, but ended up kind of pedaling back just a little bit. No pun intended, using the pedal commander there. Slowing her down, getting her dialed. Here we go. Slide him left for Field, right for Travis Reeder. Looks like Chris Ewell says Matt Field, as does Ryan Lontaine, and Brian Eggert says, there you go, it's unanimous. It is unanimous for these gentlemen. All right. When we come back, we'll continue with the action here at Texas Motor Speedway. We are officially halfway through top 32. When we come back, we'll see Chelsea Denofa's bye run. Formula Drift is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Royal Purple, the official engine oil of Formula Drift, the synthetic expert. NOS, the official energy drink of Formula Drift. NOS High Performance Energy. How hard will you drive?
Energy, human horsepower.
Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, if you spend $45 on Royal Purple products, like I just did for my oil change, Royal Purple will send you $10 back. Here's how easy it is. Head to your local O'Reilly Auto Parts, pick up any combination of Royal Purple products that get you to $45. Also good at O'Reilly.com. Make sure you take your receipt, snap a photo of it, then go to RoyalPurplePromos.com and simply upload your receipt image. It's so easy. Then all you have to do is go to the mailbox and find your $10 rebate check.
Welcome back. As you can see, Chelsea Denofa in the gold nose. The BC Racing Go for Gold coilovers, sponsored Ford Mustang. Chelsea Denofa warming up his Nitto tires. He gets a bye run due to just luck of the draw. So he will be going against Masuyama or Osbo, and this is how the bracket is filling in. You can see Forsberg and Essa, Dean Carney versus Adam LZ, Jonathan Narin versus Kazuya Taguchi, and Vaughn Gittin Jr. Matt Field. Ooh, that should be a good one there. So halfway through our top 32, Texas Motor Speedway. A little brisk here, Ryan. This Bob Ross wig is serving double duty. It's keeping me cool and it's keeping me warm.
A little bit more wind today than yesterday. Started getting, a little bit warmer towards the afternoon, the sun coming out. But overall, much rather have this than the rain that we saw earlier in the week.
Now you either look like Boondock Saints or, again, Edge from U2.
Yeah, it's a little bit cold up here, so.
You got gloves on.
I got gloves on.
Is that part of the costume?
This is part of the costume,
It
yeah.
is.
This really brings it home.
Oh, really? He always wears gloves?
Yeah.
And
Yes, he does.
Is that his thing? He shoots guns? He just caps people?
He does do that, yeah.
Okay, all right. I gotta watch this Yellowstone. It's really catching fire. I understand. Here we go. Listen to the sights, the sounds. Chelsea Denofa. Send it. Risking it for the biscuit there, having fun on the bye run. Chelsea Denofa moves on into top 16. Again, 2 official bye runs, but then due to circumstances out of our control, either drivers not in attendance or unfortunate circumstances like JTP popping his engine. So we are officially halfway through, more than halfway through, our top 32 bracket. Next up, we see we're going to be seeing Masuyama and Frederick Osbo, Ryan. And you talked about Masuyama and FD Japan. High expectations for him, but got to tell you, Osbo out of the gate, brand new vehicle, debuts it at round 1 in St. Louis and gets the win.
Yeah. This is, definitely something where we want to see how these guys have kind of learned from the first 4 rounds. It's amazing to say halfway through the year.
Yeah.
Masuyama has had some moments, but I don't think he's had all the grip needed against some of the or top-tier drivers, higher-ranked drivers, and I think that's going to be really important here against Frederick Osbo.
We'll see how he fares here in Texas. Again, this short run-up, but it bunches them up real quick against each other, and the Toyota Supra really proven. We talked about, the manifold expansion that happened in Seattle, and I know the Papadakis Racing team, creating, developing. I mean, that was the first of its kind, that 3D printed Mountoon, and had an opportunity to go over there after that happened and transpired in Seattle, and Stefan was doing a really good job of explaining, the manifold that's on the Supra compared to the one that's on the Corolla hatchback that Ryan Turk now drives, that was formerly Freddie's, and, it's like extruded as opposed to 3D printed. So really, again, a lot of cool technology that's proprietary to Just Drifting. Here we go. Looks like we are ready to send them, and we will see Masuyama lead, Osbo giving chase. Let's see what you got, fellas. Masuyama out front. Flicks it into that first outside zone. Some gap already being established, but no, Osbo trying to close the door on him. Getting a little closer in proximity. Nice job there, Masuyama. Really good, consistent, fluid lines, Ryan. Masuyama not making it easy for Osbo at all, and I would say Masuyama might even have a little bit of an advantage here.
That was a great run by Masuyama. We talked about really looking for, did he make the changes in the overall grip of the vehicle to get that speed but still maintain big line? And look how fast he shoots out of outside zone 1. When was the last time you've seen Osbo even a half a car back from a driver? He's usually door to door. This is still a pretty good chase run from Osbo, but it's not tucked up on the inside and keeping the pressure on that you would want to have to make it a clear-cut victory. Masuyama fills outside zone 2 and 3 really well while maintaining really solid and smooth driving out front. Let's see how he does on outside zone 4. Gets into it at the right time, pulls it all the way through the finish line. So there is an opportunity here for a potential big upset depending on how the next half of this battle goes.
Yeah, I mean, again, Freddie got the win at round 1. And here he is now going against Masuyama. Freddie currently sits at 3rd in points, 236 points, Ryan. let's alternate the order here. Frederick Osbo out front. Masayama in the chase position. Oh, big initiation by, oh man. And then just like that, Ryan, Masayama had the momentum, but I believe if Frederick keeps this, oh, and look at that, insult to injury. Masayama goes off in that sweeper into outside zone 3, and by now Japan S15 unfortunately goes off course.
Yeah, that was the announcer's curse there, wasn't it?
Yep.
We had the door open, or rather Masayama had the door open to pull out something big here against Frederick Osbo, but it's pretty clear that he was not able to put up the fight needed here to take it to Osbo. Osbo gets a great jump. There's Masayama overextended out of outside zone 1. At this point, it's pretty much over because the judges would consider that an incomplete. And then we would focus our attention on Frederick Osbo because he would need to finish the run. And as you said, to add insult to injury here, he goes off course completely, really falling apart here. So tough break for Masayama after a very incredible and fast lead run that saw him pulling a little bit of a gap on Frederick Osbo.
Yeah, so Freddie will get the win here unofficially, and then we'll make it official. You can see Frederick continue on through the course. And unfortunately for Masayama, oh, look at that. You can see that back right, no tire on there. You can see the two Toyota models there, the Tundra and the Tacoma. These are the Nightshade Edition. The 2021 Tacoma Nightshade Special Edition is built off the limited grade, offering the perfect combo of luxury and functionality. For the past 15 years, Tacoma has been recognized by Kelley Blue Book as the best-selling midsize pickup truck in this segment. Tacoma has been an off-road icon for more than 25 years and considered a master of all trades with available features such as crawl control, multi-terrain select, and hill start assist control. Tacoma will give you the confidence to take on even the toughest terrains. The brand new 2021 Tacoma Nightshade and the Tundra Nightshade. Speaking of the Tundra, assembled right here in Texas at Toyota Motor Manufacturing, San Antonio, available 10,200 foot-pounds of towing capacity. Tundra's 346 cubic inch I-Force 5.7 V8 produces 381 horsepower and 401 pound-foot of torque. And there it is, let's make it official. Frederick Osbo gets the win. Frederick Osbo advances on after, man, almost saw a glimmer of it falling away, but Masayama makes that mistake in the chase position, not once, but even twice. As you can see Freddie making his way back while we clear the track of Masayama. Looks like we are striping the lines out there, and while we clean up the track, Lorette Nickel caught up with Adam LZ.
I wanted to know his thoughts on it, and what are your thoughts on this Texas track?
It's definitely challenging. I know they made a few changes to the layout. I think the biggest trick for me is kind of getting an entry rate because it's very short, very technical, and just getting the car set up to do what the judges want us to do has definitely been a challenge.
Well, Adam, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lorette. Good luck to you, Adam LZ, as we are getting Masayama as DB to the tire. So we're going to get him a flatbed tow off here. And here's the bracket so far. Again, Denofa will be going against Osbo, which could shake things up, you know, given that Vaughn Gittin Jr. in contention for that championship, currently second in points. Chelsea Denofa could come in and sweep the leg. Just a few more battles left here in top 32. All right. While we clean up the track, let's take a look back at Chelsea Denofa's win in St. Louis.
Now we're going to alternate the order. Chelsea Denofa will lead. Chris Forsberg will give chase. A lot of pressure here for these two drivers. This is a good battle. And who's going to come out on top? Who are you pulling for? Denofa or Forsberg? Let him know. Denofa initiates into that first outer zone. Big angle, there's the three-wheel motion. Haven't seen that in quite some time. A plume of smoke coming off Chelsea's vehicle. Big wide swing for Chelsea Denofa. Chris Forsberg comes back, punts that center front clip, and now in that last outer zone, Chris Forsberg applying the pressure, makes some noise. Woo! I was like nervous about this run, to be honest. Look at Chelsea still drifting. You know what? Make some noise, Formula Drift.
Oh, man.
To be honest, I didn't know how that battle was going to unfold.
That might have been the best battle of the weekend.
That might
so
be
far.
the best battle, and could you feel the tension like I could? And I think the fans did as well. Ryan, let's take a look at the replay. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, both drivers get out of the gate very quick. Big
Boom.
initiation
Look
there
at
from
that.
Denofa. Three-wheel motion. Forsberg trying to eye up the line here. Denofa, massive smoke coming off the car as Forsberg tucks through. Now, the only mistake I think Forsberg made is he probably should have gone a little bit deeper like Chelsea did, so he doesn't end up hitting this cone front and center with his bumper. But then outside that, as we go back to outside zone 1 again, you'll get a look at it here through the smoke that's being generated where Chris hits that inside clip. Now Forsberg is trying to get back on it, but Denofa mashing the throttle, ripping through this center section here. And this time Chris really, I think he does a better job than Denofa did in that section of the course, mirroring the line. But Denofa was aces through that first inside clip, really mastering that line there that we saw him and his teammate Vaughn Gittin Jr. doing. Incredible job by both drivers, and this is going to be a tough one for the judges. Probably the most aggressive and smoke-filled battle that we've seen all day.
Wow.
And look at that mirroring effect, the transitioning together and then door-to-door through the finish line with sparks.
The quality of Japanese craftsmanship. Brid.
What is power and control? Power is the sprint. Control is the hurdle. Power is the flame. Control is the perfect steak. Power is turbulence. Control is containment. Power is the ignition. Control is the sensor. NGK and NTK. Power under control.
We're here for the perfectionists, the champions of doing things right. Whether they're in the shop or in the driveway, they trust O'Reilly Auto Parts because good enough won't cut it here. For over 50 years, we've been helping perfectionists get exactly what they want and exactly what they need without compromise, turning that problem into a problem solved. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
The Falcon Azenis FK510 tire is engineered for today's high-performance vehicles. Built with added tread rigidity for precise handling and an advanced rubber compound that inspires confidence, rain or shine. Get more out of your sports coupe or sedan with the Azenis FK510.
Formula Drift is brought to you by Air Force. Aim high. Type S, official lighting sponsor of Formula Drift. Lights, camera, power, fun. And GT Radial. Experience the performance.
All right, you could see Masuyama getting towed off there. Finally get him off course. Unfortunate turn of events. Insult to injury here for Masuyama, as you saw Freddie continue on through the course. And it looks like the course is clean, and we will get back up and running here in just a moment. Next up, we'll be seeing Jeff Jones and Farouk Kawai. Good to see these fellas out here. See them in the burnout box, warm up their tires. And there's Jeff Jones, that Doc Edelbrock Nissan 370Z. There's the tail of the tape. Jeff Jones, 800 horsepower for Kawhi, that 2JS chassis, 950. We'll see what we got here. Jones and Kawhi. Both veterans of Formula Drift. Let's see, as Farouk, the SGK Performance, warming them up. Farouk Kawhi, wrapping out with him previously, says the car feels good, a lot of horsepower, but had some problems there leading up to this event, but he's feeling confident. Says the car is a rocket ship. And of course, Jeff Jones, that LS powered supercharged. Again, getting a little windy here, unfortunately. Contribute to the coolness. Here we go. Jeff Jones out front. Farouk in the chase position. Got a clean start, no cones hit. Outside zone, looks like Farouk a little hesitant there on initiation in the chase. Now into the third outside zone through that sweeper. Jeff Jones pulling away from Farouk. Oh, and Farouk looks like he corrects. He straightens out mid of that sweeping turn, Ryan.
Yeah, we saw Farouk fall victim to what was something of a trend yesterday for some of the Pro 2 guys, and that's that transition from outside zone 3 into the left-hand sweeper. Jones, nice rolling into initiation here, coming into inside clip number 1. Good momentum as he fills outside zone 2 completely. Farouk cuts it short, comes up really tight, and then has to back off here. Straightens out and loses ground pretty dramatically there to Jeff Jones. Here's Farouk coming through the smoke line. You see that surging attack, and he's gonna fall back. We lose him out of frame, and that's because he really was way back behind. Had to catch up there, reinitiate, and unfortunately, that's gonna be a big mistake.
All right, let's alternate the order here. Farouk will lead. Farouk will lead, and Jeff Jones will give chase. And away they go. Farouk really needs to put something down here in order to potentially advance on. Jeff Jones gonna apply the pressure. Good transition into that first front flip. Now coming into outside zone 3. See Jeff Jones, he lunges forward. Then Farouk pulls away. Middle line now working to the outside zone 4. Unfortunately for Farouk, Jeff Jones was right there. I believe, unfortunately for Farouk, that could be the end of today's action, but this is a doubleheader, so we do have tomorrow. Let's take a look at it again here, Ryan. Watch this initiation here by Farouk.
Yeah, now when I first saw it, it looked like he really didn't speed up to the first turn in an orthodox way that you would expect. Jones makes an adjustment. He's able to stay pretty close to him on outside zone 2. Coming through the smoke line here, he's still a presence in the chase position here, not letting Farouk get away. This is where we start to see a little bit of separation here going into outside zone 4. But Jeff Jones did enough there in the chase position to show a difference between the two chase runs. In Jeff Jones's lead, overall, he really didn't really make too many mistakes. So as we look at Farouk's lead run, we'll do the side-by-side, or we'll do the comparison here. As you said, Jared, I think the edge is going to go to Jeff Jones overall just because of the extremity of the mistake made by Farouk in his chase position.
All right. Waiting for the judge's verdict to come on in. Looks like they're taking a look at it again as far as initiation. So the judge is analyzing this second run. Bit of a tank slapper there in the initiation there from Farouk. Let's take a look. Which way does it slide? Slide him left for Jeff Jones. Jeff Jones gets the win and moves on to the top 16. Jones in it to win it. Unfortunately for Farouk, his day is done today. We'll
we'll see him back here tomorrow for round 6. Odi Bakshi's Ryan Literal. There's Masayama's vehicle getting towed back to his pit. All right, he talked about it, definitely threatening, but unfortunately Osbo and his battle did not go Masayama's way.
Yeah, it looks like he sustained enough damage there to get a flat toe off. That's never good. And like you said, he looks really good in his lead run.
Yep.
I mean, if there's anything to take away from that, it's that. There's something that he can build off of. To do that to Frederick Osbo is quite a rarity. And we know that Masayama has a lot of skill and talent. We asked, hey, can he get a little bit more speed in the car? It looks like he did that.
Yep.
Just made a big mistake in the chase, and it cost him.
All right, both these guys in Nissans, but 2 very different engines. You have the RB under the hood. Or no, sorry, he's got the Z. No, he's got the LS. Sorry, my bad. And of course, Odi Bakshi's, he's got the LS, so similar setups, Nissans, with big Chevy V8s. Here we go. Odi Bakshi's, what do you got? Going against Ryan Literal. Odi Bakshi's into the outside zone. Ryan Literal tip for tat there. Exactly same time transitioning in the outside zone 3. Got that power on deck. Brings it outside zone 4. And Literal brings it home with that power stop brakes. GT radial. Nissan Z.
Well, we saw Odi Bakshi's out of Seattle. After Seattle, changed the front of the vehicle after big damage. Looks like he's trying to pick up where he started off early season. Gets a good jump there, goes out wide to outside zone 2. Ryan Literal keeping it close though. Good transition by Literal behind him. Tries to get into the pocket. Here's Odi reaching from outside zone 3 into 4. And here it is coming through the power alley once again as Literal tries to hunt him down. Trying to dive in here on outside zone 3. Take advantage of gaining some proximity, but Odi doesn't let him. Here comes Literal once again on that surge, but a little bit less angle there the last few feet of the course. So good battle there between Ryan Literal and Odi Bakshi's. Odi looking for his first championship, has been very close the past couple of years. Is this the opportunity, the year that he can pull it out? 4 rounds left to go over 4 days, over 3 weeks.
Yeah, right.
It's all gonna happen then.
All the numbers, crunching the numbers. Odi currently sitting in 6th overall in the point standings. Ryan Literal will lead Odi Bakshi's at Falcon Tires Vortex Supercharged LS S15. Literal out of the gate. Rolling in that first outside zone. Initiative. Really gripping up, man. Those GT radials hooking up, and there goes Odi Bakshi's to the door of Literal. You can see him great proximity there. Throw some more angle at it. I think he's really got a valiant effort here. Woo-wee! Odi, it's just over the years is just absolutely just more comfortable with where he's at, and just his chase runs are some of the best.
I think he has become one of the top chase drivers in the world, hands down, and he showed a bit of it there. And, hearkening back to Seattle, Jared, I was just thinking about it. I remember we pulled data off that car. The crash that he had measured around 8 Gs.
Wow.
And so he is not afraid, even on a course where there's no walls here, to come back and not let that hamper him. He's showing strong resurgence here overall and tenacity to try and take out a win here, a much needed win in the top 32 against a formidable competitor like Ryan Literal. You can see Literal out front doing pretty much what he needs to do here, getting out to outside zone 2 in a deep way. Odi following through the smoke line, transitioning, getting up in the pocket here, keeping the pressure on, leading into outside zone 4, and giving us a great bit of tandem here. And that could not happen without a solid lead run by Ryan Literal, so great job by both competitors.
All right. The culmination of 2 runs comes to this. Looks like the judges are requesting the BC Racing custom coilover side by side. BC Racing, go for gold.
Culmination.
Culmination, that's right. You like that word?
So here we go. Odi on the left in the lead, Literal in the right. You saw Odi extend past that first outside zone with big angle, then get back on it. The chase run looks strong by Odi. Literal looking good out front in his lead run. Odi really made a statement there towards the end from outside zone 4 in his chase run with the proximity. Is it enough to edge it out here in 32? Let's find out from the judges.
And waiting for the outcome here. Do you see any other replays? We'll see if it's lit or if it's Odie. And looks like the judge's verdict is in. Slide him left for Odie, right for Literal. One more time from Chris Yule. Ryan Lantain says Odie Bakshies, and Brian Eggert says Odie Bakshies gets the win. So 2-1. Lantain, I'm gonna tap over to you. Ryan Lantain, one of our judges. He's gonna give some insight on the verdict. Both Ryan Lantain and Brian Eggert siding the way of Odie.
We looked at what Odie did in his lead position. He went a little bit wide after outside zone 1, but it didn't seem to affect him. He got to inside clip 1 and made it to outside zone 2 just fine, filled 3 and 4 as well. And I think if he had gone wide, maybe had some other errors, it may have weighed more heavily. But in Chris's case, that is what weighed heavily for him and why he went with it one more time. And in terms of the chase runs, Odie had better proximity. He made a couple of compromises to maintain and maybe get that proximity. And in the meeting, we did say if you need to make a couple of compromises or make a compromise to get in proximity, do it and then get back online. Odie seemed to do a pretty good job of that, whereas Ryan Literal didn't have the proximity that Odie did in his chase run, and he was still off of a couple of areas like outside zone 2 in the chase position. So that's kind of what put it over the edge for me, giving it to Odie.
Right on, thank you very much. Hey, real quick, let's throw down to Lorette Nickel. Lorette, what's up?
So much. I just wanted to catch up with Frederick Osbo, and you have motor version number 2 in your car. Sometimes that can create some differences for you, right?
Sure, yeah. I mean, Steph and the boys back at the shop have been busy putting together this new version. Billet main caps, more stroke, bigger cams. Feels like a real race motor now. But we had some tuning issues yesterday. We actually blew the front main seal out. She's running great now, though, and hoping she will for a long day today, hopefully.
Frederick, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you, Lorette. Yeah,
It's funny that he mentioned that I looked at his lap count yesterday, 4 laps.
Oh, wow.
In practice, or excuse me, Thursday. 4 practice laps, so that's really interesting that he basically came into this morning, and I think probably got another 2 laps, possibly 3.
So not a lot of track time with that new setup. Like you said, having some issues. Well, here's his Toyota Racing teammate. We saw them in the finals at round 1. That's what they wanted. As Turk comes out sliding in that gun out. Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla hatchback on Ditto tires. And look at this, the reintroduction of Kyle the Menace Moen. Haven't seen him at all this season. Woo! And then he jumps back up. The American Ethanol. It's all about the green, the bio. You ever seen a 3-rotor run bio? You ever seen a bio? You can see right there, got some reusable lubricants as he spins out and Ryan Turk continues on through the course. And obviously that's going to be a major advantage for Turk.
Yeah, as you said, sliding out of that first, out of the start line there, and Kyle Mohan looking to make his presence felt here after missing the first couple rounds. Coming into this the third outside zone from the second, he gets tight on Ryan Turk, has to back off, and then is not able to hold the angle there. Now let's take a look. Remember, this is our second decel zone coming into outside zone 3 right there. So looks like Mohan was just kind of surging a little bit more than he should have in that decel zone area, and then had to back off and was not able to hold that angle through. So Ryan Turk, at least at first pass, looks like he's got a big advantage here as we wait for Kyle Mohan to get to the line.
Yeah, I know Kyle, taking a hiatus there early part of the year, first part of the season, I should say, but comes back, it's like, oh, cool, there you go against our current points leader, Ryan Turk.
Yeah, and that's definitely a tall order, no question about it. These guys have been stepping up the driving round by round, adjusting to all the different circumstances that come their way, and especially what we saw in Seattle with the, rain one day, then it gets dry, then more rain, it's cold. So tough challenges to deal with.
All right, looks like we got a door open here on Ryan Turk. And here's what happened here. I don't think there was any contact, was there, Ryan?
Well, I think they're looking at Turk, and this second outside zone, or the third outside zone right here, is a decel area. It's in that area there. This is a close look. Now, it's really, I think, now you're starting to see the smoke line come back on from Turk, so I think that's probably going to be okay, but I believe that's what they're looking at is, did he decel too long, or was it a fine?
looks like everything's checking out all right. Ryan Turk. Looks like they're inspecting his vehicle, and we will. Yeah, judges want to take a look at this again here. So you see Ryan Turk, big angle in that second outside zone. Dipping that tire.
So that's a decel. You can decel there, and that's it. He's back on throttle there. So I'm personally, I don't know what exactly they're looking for there. Maybe we can
contact.
I see a thumbs up now.
Ryan Lantain, were you looking for contact, or was there contact? Okay. Okay, so yeah, just the judges were looking. It looked like the attitude of the vehicle did get slightly disrupted, but not too volatile. But I bet a lot of that had to be re-entering the track after kind of dipping the tire off.
So to clear,
making sure that Ryan didn't decel improperly. Copy that. And so kind of a combination of all things. Decel, off track, dip that tire, contact made. Was the decel kosher? Was it good? All right. Well, find out. Basically, there was slight contact. They did say there is a slight mark on the driver's door of Ryan Turk, which would mean that Kyle Mohan's front right got into him just a little bit. So that first outside zone, Kyle Mohan transitions past that front clip. Now coming to that second outside zone through the power alley into the third and the big sweeper. Now Ryan Turk looks like he's pedaling back. Now he's going to jump to the side of him. Brings it all the way through the finish line. Ryan, looks like Turk was kind of like, I'll give myself a little bit of room here.
Yeah, I think he and his spotter were conferring that the mistake made by Kyle Mohan was indeed Kyle's mistake and not anything to do with Ryan. And that being the case, that means it would be an incomplete for Kyle. So it would be justified for Turk to stay back a little bit, not put himself at an unnecessary risk here against Mohan, but still keep the pressure on, make sure that he doesn't get an inactive chase. And obviously he didn't do that, so this should be an easy victory here into the top 16.
All right, let's see what comes out. Yeah, so slide him left for Ryan Turk, right for Kyle Mohan, and there we go. Ryan Turk gets the win and advances on into the top 16. 3 more battles left here in top 32. So up next, we got Dai Yoshihara and Dan Burkett. And there you go, giving the official thumbs up. Ryan Turk getting the win in that Gum Out Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla hatchback. That 3-rotor RX-8, great to see Kyle Mohan back. Eco-friendly, American-made ethanol RX-8. Dai Yoshihara, Dan Burkett up next. After that, we'll see Taylor Hull versus Eve Meyer. We got Dylan Hughes versus Jonathan Castro. My producer here is saying the best haircut in Formula Drift. And I'm assuming you're saying Dai Yoshihara or Dan Burkett? Yeah, I think he's claiming Dan Burkett. I don't know, Dai's got a pretty good head of hair himself, though. Maybe cut it into a mullet, and he'll get the accolades.
We used to have a best hair, remember?
Yeah, we did. Dai always won.
I think you won it, yeah.
Dai Yoshihara would always win. You always came runner-up, though, Ryan.
Yeah, it's always a tough challenge, you know?
It's tough. Well,
it's tough to lose.
Now you're getting the facial hair game.
Yeah, best facial hair.
Clearing the track, and we will be sending them down the pipe. Dai Yoshihara, turn 14 distribution, Falcon tires, Subaru BRZ, Ineos oil, running through the veins. You got Dan Burkett, the Rad Industries gear wrench, Nexen tire, Toyota Supra. 2 great-looking cars. So Dai Yoshihara put the brand new 2021 BRZ headlights in there. Looking good, feeling right. Throwing it in. Past that front clip, Dan Burkett center punches it. Dai Yoshihara comes out of that second outside zone into the third. See Dan Burkett hungry, chomping at the bit, but Dai Yoshihara taking that wide, sweeping line. Absolute textbook run there from Dai Yoshihara.
Yeah, and the smoothness that he's been driving this year has been amazing. And remember, he also had a really hard hit in Seattle. So coming back and having the confidence here to drive on this course, it's basically full throttle the entire way, is saying quite a bit of his driving prowess. We're starting to see some tendencies here from some drivers before they get to outside zone 3 in that chase position, kind of missing it, surging forward, trying to get in the pocket, gain that proximity, but not hitting outside zone 3. And you can see right there, Dan Burkett forgoes it to gain proximity, but then he's still on a much lower line. Now he starts getting back up on a better line, but he's not able to gain that proximity. So we see Dye from above. Look at the angle on outside zone 2, the great transition to outside zone 3. He decells in the correct area. He's back on throttle pretty early past outside zone 3, and then fills outside zone 4 completely as a lead driver. Now that's going to put him in a good position here to take a tempered approach in the chase position, knowing that Dan really has his work cut out for him here in the lead. Dye still has to keep the pressure on, but he's really just got to focus on making sure that he keeps proximity and let Dan make mistakes as a lead driver, because he laid down a solid lead run there.
Yeah, it was absolutely textbook. We saw Dan Burkett center punch that front clip, exceeding the front 2 tires there. So this is where it gets a little hairy. You really have to just, again, temper that flame, keep it back just a little bit, but save some in the tank, and there you go. So Dai Yoshihara alternates with Dan Burkett. He takes out that front clip, and now into that last outside zone, into the sweeping turn. Dan Burkett looking good out front. Dai Yoshihara not giving him an inch there, especially through the outside zone 4 run.
Yeah, that was a bit of a statement there from Dai Yoshihara. He was still very aggressive in the chase position, and looks like he's put himself in a position where a good lead, a great lead, and a solid chase will help you move on. You can see Dan just drops a tire there on outside zone 1. Dai mimicking him to outside zone 2 and really getting deep into that zone with Dan. So this is a great job by Dan. He gets to the edge of outside zone 3, and then right here, the door is open for Dai to keep the pressure on. Dai does hit that inside clip. He was a little bit tight there. But as these mistakes are calculated, one versus the other, you have to take note of who made the lesser mistakes overall, who kept the pressure on, who had the better lead run. And at least at the moment, it looks like that is Daijiro Yoshihara.
Quickly getting through our top 32. As of right now, might have just cursed it, but it's calling it like I see him. And waiting for our judges deliberating on this battle. And you can see Dan Burkett, middle of the line. He does get out there slightly towards the finish line. That drone shot, just the absolute truth serum, isn't it?
Yeah, you really see the way the cars are moving from above in a different kind of way. Especially the lower you get, it's really hard to see kind of the depth perspective. But let's go to the judges' scorecards.
There we go, slide him left for Daijiro Yoshihara gets the win. Dai gets the win, taking out Dan Burkett. We'll see you tomorrow, Dan Burkett, in that gear wrench, Rad Industries Toyota Supra, and we'll see you after the halftime break. Dai Yoshihara gets the win and moves on into the top 16. Only 2 more battles left. Dai Yoshihara will be going against Ryan Turk in the top 16.
Ooh,
yeah.
Got some tough battles coming up in the top 16 for sure, huh? Forsberg, Essa, Kearney, LZ, Naren Taguchi, Gittin Field, Denofa, Osbo, Jones and Odie, Turk and Dai. Wow.
Yeah, I was wondering if Yves Meyer was here. He is not. So Yves Meyer is a no-show here, coming to us from Switzerland. So Taylor Hull, full pole Hull, is moving on in top 16. So this will be a bye run for this Comp Cams Achilles Tire Cadillac ATSV. Listen to this All-American machine. Full pull Hull behind the wheel. So Ryan quickly getting through our top 32. You can see Dylan Hughes warming up his royal purple BMW. Listen and feel. making his way back to the pits. That classic NASCAR livery, little homage to the Intimidator. So Castro and Hughes. Dylan Hughes as Castro and Hughes waiting to do battle. Okay, well, vote for your favorite Formula Drift driver. Go to Holly. You could you could see on the chat in YouTube. You could see vote for your favorite Formula Drift driver in the fan chat on the YouTube stream. You can see it right at the top of the chat. Click that button. Vote. We want to know, and as does Holly Performance. Holly making a variety of aftermarket parts. Thanks to Holly for their support. Vote for your favorite FD driver. Here are the stats. Pretty equally matched horsepower-wise. And Dylan Hughes coming on strong. Jonathan Castro, still one of the most exciting runs I've ever had the pleasure to announce from Dominican Republic. Jonathan Castro and Dylan Hughes from the Pacific Northwest. As the Royal Purple O'Reilly Auto Parts BMW. Looks like something's up here. Something might have happened with Dylan Hughes. Looks like our starter.
Yeah, Hughes with those 2 back-to-back grade 8 finishes in St. Louis. And we've been waiting for Jonathan Castro to come on. He's had a couple rough moments, especially last round, some contact with Dye. Got a little hairy there. He's ready for a breakout now.
All right, looks like thumbs up. Here we go. Lights are now on. Dylan Hughes will lead. Castro will give chase. Our final, oh, look, so something's up with Dylan. I don't think his car is 100%.
Ooh, that, if the light went off and he left the line, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, that's a major problem.
Unless it was a false start, but unless he left the light early. Oh my gosh, what a heartbreaking situation here.
Oh man, so yeah, so what did we just hear, Ryan?
What I heard, not verbatim, was that it was a clean start. It looks like he either stalled the car or something went wrong with the car. So now it looks like they're gonna move him over to the other position. I say that unofficially. I heard that firsthand, but it's really windy up here. So that's what did you hear that?
Yeah, that's what I heard. Basically, clean start, pulled away from the line. And yeah, so Ryan Lontaine, going to go over to you here. What transpired? You saw the lights extinguished, meaning let's go. Dylan began to leave and then stopped.
Yeah, it looks like, well, what we're hearing is maybe the car stalled. I don't know if it's a mechanical issue or if he actually popped the clutch out too fast and actually stalled the car. I'm not quite sure about that yet, but that constitutes an incomplete as the light went off and he was not able to physically leave the line. Anytime there's either a mechanical error or a driver error that occurs on the track once the light goes off, that's the run, unfortunately.
So Dylan Hughes absolutely gutted. So, hey, thanks. Happy Halloween, everybody. Thank you for joining us here. Gonna paint ourselves a nice little picture. And got old Rip here. Just gonna paint a picture of y'all and just everybody stand still before I make all this. Brian, what is your costume? What are you supposed to be there? Brian Eggert, what are you? Ryan Lontaine, they look like judges. Real creative guys. Looks like they're Formula Drift judges. But, yep, shout out to all y'all watching. Hashtag FDTX. Let everybody know that we got some happy little accidents out here. Chris Ewell, Ryan Lontaine, Brian Eggert. There are our judges. Talking with Pat, aka P2.
So there it is. That's official now.
Oh man.
He's on the other side. He's now going to a chase. This is actually a really weird. Have we seen this before? Because neither driver did a run.
No.
And they're thinking, okay, I'm leading now, I'm chasing now.
Here, is Dylan able to leave the line here in the chase position?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Man, he looks fired up.
He's ticked off. You know what? And it might just be like, oh, snap. Wow. So Dylan gets to the side of the Castro. Castro continues on.
Yeah.
Dude. Just knowing Dylan. Just knowing Dylan, he is pissed. to put it nicely. So, well, you know who's stoked? Jonathan Castro. Jonathan Castro will get the win here, but Dylan Hughes unfortunately knocked out. We were talking about just his momentum, getting those back-to-back great 8s in Seattle and feeling the flow. And look, you can just see, so there might be something as far as engagement. I mean, I don't think he would just burn the tires like that just for the heck of it. You can see just throws right into it. Ugh, bummer for Dylan. The Dozer Hughes, living up to his name, the Dozer. Throws it in hard, got that headlight trim, got some corner lights as Castro continues on through the course. And that is the culmination of top 32, Ryan. What the remainder of the day, we'll be back here. We have a halftime break. We'll be back here for top 16. But let's take a look at that bracket once again. Yeah, you're just pulling it up. Thank you so much. So top 16 begins at 2:30. At 2:30. You didn't get my dentist joke yesterday. That's what time you go to the dentist, 2:30.
It took me 3 times.
Yeah, it really did. and yeah. All right, let's make it official. Slide him left for Dylan Hughes, and of course, you know they're going to go right for Jonathan Castro from Dominican Republic, the Judo Metaldom Toyota 86. Jonathan Castro gets the win and moves on into top 16. Let's take a look at some of the highlights here. We had quite a few bye runs due to either the luck of the draw between Forsberg and Denofa, and a couple no-shows here from a few drivers. So they got the fast pass into the top 16. What's going on here?
Oh,
he's playing it up. He's playing it up. All right, there is the bracket. You can see Forsberg versus Essa. That is a long-standing rivalry there. Dean Carney versus Adam LZ. Jonathan Nairn versus Kazuya Taguchi. Von Gitt Jr. versus Matt Field.
And on the other side of the bracket, Chelsea Denofa, Frederick Osmo. That is a big battle. Jeff Jones and Odi Bakshi's Ryan Turk will be taking on Daijiro Yoshihara. And capping things off in the top 16 as we try to finish up the day here in Texas is Taylor Hull and Jonathan Castro.
You say finish up the day, but remember, we got a triple header. Pro 2 yesterday, Pro today, round 5. Tomorrow, round 6. Here's a couple highlights from our top 32 action. We saw Rome Charpentier and Dean Carney. Dean Carney makes it pass and will be in the top 16. So that big sweeper not playing too big of a role here in Pro Championship. Then next up, yeah, I believe that is, yeah. So Ken Gucci gets knocked out. It was Ken Gucci and Kazuya Taguchi, who Taguchi came out on top in the up garage GT Radial S15. And we saw 2 Ford Mustangs. One of the Shelby variety, Tyler Nelson, comes to a halt going against Von Gitt Jr., the former champ. Just a little more refinement as far as that chase run. Calculated chase there. It's much. And then we could see overall the overhead shot there. And then Matt Field and Travis Reeder. Matt Field, the Beast of the Bay, comes out swinging. Reeder, Old Red, unfortunately, comes in
pushing
too
a little
hard.
bit too hard, yeah.
So Matt Field joins the party in top 16, coming out of the drift cave here in Texas. And then we got Jeff Jones and Farouk Kawai. Unfortunately for Farouk, had a big correction and a mistake coming into zone 3, into outside zone 4. See him shuts it down, gets left in the smoke there. And Jeff Jones continues on into the top 16. Odi Bakshi's Ryan Literal. This was a really good battle. I know Literal wanted it, but the way Odi is chasing right now, that's really what you have to focus on. You know, Literal, he's right there, a real contender. I like the way he's progressed over the years. The power stop brakes, GT Radial, Nissan Z. Now, welcome back to Kyle Mohan, but unfortunately he gets dealt a difficult hand with Ryan Turk, our current points leader. Again, no victory just yet, but consistency is key. That's why Ryan Turk is our points leader in that come-out Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla hatchback. And we have a few more Toyotas in the mix. Unfortunately, Ken Gucci gets knocked out, but Osmo and Castro make it in. And here's Dai Yoshihara and Dan Burkett. Dai Yoshihara, absolute textbook lead run, Ryan.
Yeah, Dai looks very strong here. We talked about how both him and Odi Bakshi suffered those big crashes at Seattle, and both drivers look like it was unfazed for them when they came back in here, or they remained unfazed. And then here, Dylan Hughes, unfortunately, had a problem in his lead run, did not get off the line at all. They switched things up, and then obviously the frustration coming out and obviously hurting him overall.
All right, well, as we wrap up top 32, remember we'll be back here at 2:30. But before that, I throw it down to Lorette Nickel, who's with Jeff Jones.
Jared, thank you so much. Jeff Jones and I were talking about Seattle in round 3. Unfortunately, he missed his bye run in Seattle due to a broken belt, but you made some upgrades so that never happens again, right?
Yeah, had to make some upgrades. Had an unfortunate wreck in my Doc 370Z. We were out there killing it, had a bye run, and then unfortunately lost the belt. That put me in the wall. I went back to Edelbrock. I was like, hey guys, what can we do to solve this? They came up with an awesome plan, and it's on the car. We're making more horsepower now, and it's working great. So loving that. Came out here to Texas, man. This is a cool track. It's really fast. I do miss the old layout, though.
Okay. Well, for top 16, you're going against Odie.
Yep.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I just went against Farouk, right? And I know that Farouk's, he's had a few good laps here, and some were shaky. So I wanted to make sure I got past him. Didn't want to take him lightly. With Odie, man, you know he's a beast. You know he's going to have like a perfect run. So for him, it's just kind of like, how badass can I make my car right now? So the guys are back there doing as much things as they can do to make this thing a rocket ship. So I'm going to be on a spaceship flying through here, going to the moon. It's just, Odie's a badass, and I'm just going to go full send. And if I DB'd, then my guys are buying dinner. If I don't, then I'm buying dinner. Full send, coming for you, Odie.
Jeff, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Jared, Ryan.
Thank you, Lorette. Jeff, making claims, dude. He's joining the space program, right? He's going to the moon. And dinner is on the line, according to his crew. So we will take a short break, but we'll be back here in about 2 hours. So 2:30 local time currently is 12:17. So we'll see you back here at 2:30 for our top 16 opening ceremonies, round 5 of the Formula J Pro Championship. On behalf of Ryan Sage, Lorette Nickel, I'm Jared Deanna. We're back here at 2:30 for top 16 pro action.
Link ECU produces standalone engine management technology with a range of products that allow you to unleash the power of your engine. Acting as your car's brain, Link ECUs control electronic fuel injection and ignition. A magnitude of sensor inputs and outputs ensure your engine exceeds your expectations. Built-in safety features guarantee engine protection, and data logs keep you informed on its performance. Smoke your tires, not your engine, with a world-leading Link ECU.
The Falcon Azenis RT660 is the enthusiast's choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falcon Azenis RT660.
We're here for the perfectionists, the champions of doing things right. Whether they're in the shop or in the driveway, they trust O'Reilly Auto Parts, because good enough won't cut it here. For over 50 years, we've been helping perfectionists get exactly what they want and exactly what they need without compromise, turning that problem into a problem solved. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
Honestly, I think the Achilles 123S is the best tire for drifting. It's just so consistent. There's so much grip.
love being on Achilles. It is incredible. The tire is incredible.
It's the best tire that I've ever used. Tons of grip. It's just so consistent, precise, very predictable.
Having a tire that's consistent all the way through from when it's cold to when it's roasting hot is very important.
I really wouldn't want to be on any other tire.
Formula Drift is brought to you by Link ECU. Link Engine Management, the official ECU of Formula Drift. Achilles Tires, tires you can trust. And Ford.